she had to leave the hospital.
Get the baby.
I can't say no to your job, cause I wanna lose my mind with you. I can't say no to your love, cause I wanna lose my mind with you.
You're watching the Antonio Parkinson Project.
To the Antonio Parkinson Project today, we are talking the Democrats getting kicked off their committees. We are also talking the 14th Amendment and what it means to you. And also, we got the superstar herself, Senator London Lamar, in the building, baby. So don't go anywhere. Hit that subscribe button. We'll be right back. You're watching the Antonio Parkinson Project.
You're watching the Antonio Parkinson Project.
Welcome back to the Antonio Parkinson Project. Today is going to be a fully packed show, man. We got a lot of shit going on. A lot of shit been happening in the last few weeks. Trump went up there and kissed President Z's ass, but we ain't even talking about that on the show. But before we get started, let me welcome my lovely co-host, Angelica Jelly Woods, in the building. Got a Charlie Brown shirt on, baby. Let's go.
I feel like a lot of wah, wah, wah.
I know, right? Yes. Are you Angelica today, or are you Polly Pureheart? Who we got today?
I am Polly Pureheart.
Polly, okay.
Thank
So
you.
we know what we're up to. Hey, he is America's worst wingman.
Yeah.
America's worst wingman.
Say
he
it.
is DJ Kojak. He's
Say
my
it.
DJ though.
Yeah.
Give it up for DJ Kojak in the building. Let's go, baby.
Damn.
Yeah.
Appreciate that, Q.
Kojak really hard.
Appreciate that, Q.
That's like the hardest.
Nothing. Did you hear the scratch?
I heard the scratch. It was an undertone. I appreciate that, Q.
What you do? Turn the volume down on your scratch. That's a bit sacrilegious. Hey man, look, hey DJ Kojak, look, man, I'm gonna tell you something, man. When I saw her for the first time, man, I remember I was at this meeting with I think it was Stand for Children, right? And this little young girl, right, came, young, tall, beautiful, smart, came walking in there and making a presentation. So I'm sitting back in the cut, right, just laying back. I ain't never seen her before in my life, right? I'm sitting back in the cut and I'm looking, and Kojak, you know, from my music business days, right?
Yeah.
I'm looking at this woman. Young woman. I think she might have been 20, 21 or something like that, right? And I looked at her. I said, "And that motherfucker's a superstar." I'm serious. I saw it from the beginning, man. Real talk, off the top.
Yeah.
I saw it, and I said, "I don't know who she is. She wasn't in politics. I saw her making this presentation, and I said she's a superstar. She has all of the makings of a superstar." And awesome. She's here with us today. Y'all give it up for State Senator London Lamar.
Give it up. Give it up.
She's back.
We got her back. We got her back.
Yeah, welcome back.
It's been a
welcome
long
back.
time.
Yeah,
It's been like 2 years. Yeah.
I got gray hair now.
Right.
Oh,
man, listen, before we jump into this, I want to run that video. Q, run that first video.
Come on now.
What I'm saying is, as chairwoman, we're going to make sure we raise the funds to fight this. We're going to make sure we energize the people to fight this. We're going to make sure we lock arms with all our democratic activist organizations, advocate organizations, nonprofits, and the people who feel downright offended and misused in this moment. It's our time. They may have taken our congressional district, but they ain't going to take our voice or our vote. They think they get in one more Republican district, but they may end up with 3 Democratic districts. Our grandkids will look back on this moment and reflect on how our people fought. The work is not done. We are in the new Jim Crow era. But in this new era, we're going to show you what strength looks like, what courage looks like, what resilience looks like, what it means to have a multicultural body of people still standing together and fighting for what's right. Today, my white Republican colleagues, they like to brag about their ancestors came to America for freedom. And today they voted to take people's freedom away. Hypocrisy. Hypocrisy. Enough is enough.
You're watching the Antonio Parkinson Project.
Look, I told you, man, look, and so since that time I met her the first time, she had been elected to state representative. Then she made the leap over into the boring chamber of the Tennessee Senate, and she has been a fierce fighter for the people of Memphis. Let's give it up for her one more time.
Yeah.
State Senator London Lamar.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So, State Senator London Lamar, you got an announcement to make, right?
Yes, I've decided to run for Congress.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
I had to meet the moment.
Yeah.
You know, we look at that video clip,
Yeah.
you know, when they announced the special session, things changed, the circumstances changed. And you know, I've always wanted to run for Congress. That's not a secret. That's something I told Representative Parkinson, you know, ever since I interned in Congress for our current sitting congressman in the DC office. I knew I wanted to be a formidable legislator in some capacity, and I knew I wanted to be able to do that on every level to be someone to bring resources back to my community. And so I knew that I was doing well doing this on the state level, right? You know, I was doing well working with my Republican colleagues, finding common interests, even in the supermajority red state, to at least do something for my community, right? And so when everything changed regarding the redrawing these congressional districts, the circumstances of what this district changed and what type of candidate we need to win in this new congressional 9. And so when I looked at the new map, I realized the Shelby form part of the new 9 is pretty much my whole city district. And it is. And so now that the race is new and is different, I wanted to meet the moment. And I felt like all the experience I've gained in the 8 years that I've been in the legislature will make me a formidable candidate to advocate for this district well. And in the history of my work in the legislature, I've worked on issues and champion issues. It's not necessarily about being a Democrat. It's about what helps the average Tennesseans have a better and a more affordable life. So I've been advocating for healthcare access, strong public education systems. Maternal health is my baby, which is an issue that, you know, spans across the state because we have the highest maternal mortality rate in the country. I've been passing legislation to make rent more affordable. All of these issues that are kitchen table issues for people that I feel like I can unite in a new district that has both the urban Memphis core, the suburban Shelby County and Fayette County core, and it goes into the rural areas of southern Tennessee and up into Williamson County. So for me, I feel like I was a candidate that can unite all these different geographical areas into one concise agenda around affordability.
Yeah, but and womanhood.
Well,
You know,
absolutely.
the number one voter is women.
It is women,
Right.
and I will hope to have the support of women, but I'm not running because I'm a woman.
No,
This is not a campaign about vote for a woman. No,
Right.
I want to advocate for a campaign that's for families, that is about making sure people can afford to live, can eat, and that will bring resources back to the state of Tennessee for the people in our districts, whether you're urban, suburban, or rural. I want to be a candidate that unites us around issues that are for our families and for our future.
Okay, I have a question. I
I'm
always say this is a question. They say I ask the stupid questions, but I really want to know. So when you change from running for you're sitting right now, and you're going to run for Congress, how does your campaign have to change? Because it seems like your messaging and your why is the same, but how would your campaign efforts have to change? Can you use the same campaign efforts? I have no idea. I just want to know. Do you do the same thing?
I think you implement a bunch of different strategies. It's not one strategy. It's one because now, look, what happened with the congressional district, that's behind us. We may not like it, but we are here now.
Mhm.
And so what the method has to be is a multi-tiered effort around making sure we can engage in these different type of communities in this district in a way that can unify them around one message. And I know what that message is about for our families and for our future. And so for me, I'm going to have to maximize and use the skill sets that I have to run a multi-strategic campaign to bring different types of communities together around one common issue and one messaging and one agenda.
Yeah. Of course, there's been a lot of outcry about when you got into the race because there were people in the race or other people have gotten in the race. I'm gonna run this list off both Republicans and Democrats.
Okay.
This is, I just pulled this from the Secretary of State's office just a few minutes ago, and there are still some signatures pending. So this is not the complete list, probably until the next few days. I would assume as they're checking all the signatures on the candidate's application. So District 9, and we're going to go through District 9, District 8, and District 5 also, but Senator Lamar is here, so we'll talk about District 9 right now. The candidates are, you got Charlotte Bergman, who is a Republican out of Memphis. Of course, Brent Taylor, who is a Republican out of Eads, Tennessee, and sitting state senator right now, actually your colleague. Jeremy Thompson, who's a Republican out of Fayetteville. Todd Warner, who's a Republican out of Lewisburg. LaTroy Williams, who is a Democrat out of Memphis. Senator London Lamar, who is Democrat out of Memphis, signature still pending. Justin J. Pearson, Democrat out of Memphis. Jim Torino, Democrat out of Columbia. Brenda Woods, Democrat out of Bolivar. Dennis Clark, Independent out of Memphis. And Michelle Davis Head, Independent out of Lewisburg. And so, of course, there was some chatter when you announced or said that you were going to run, and people saying that, too many Democrats shouldn't pile into the race, basically. And then, and more specifically, a little chatter about the fact that you're running against Justin Pearson.
Yeah, you want me to address all of it?
Yeah, please.
I will address all of that. So I want to set the tone that regardless of how we feel about what happened last week, we are here.
Yes.
Right. And the districts have changed. So I think this is the perfect time to clear up a lot of misconceptions and a lot of rumors.
Yeah, and step up to your mic so we can make sure they hear you clearly. Okay.
So the first rumor I want to clear up is that when I pulled my petition for the new Congressional 9, my assumption was Representative Pearson was going to run in the district he actually lives in, which is the new Congressional 5. And so I pulled a petition because I live in District 9, this new Congressional District 9. The fact that the Shelby County portion of it is pretty much my full Senate district. Sitting in that district, I'm a formidable candidate. I've been in the legislature 8 years, been able to pass legislation, been able to build consensus across different types of groups around common issues. The work that I've done in the Democratic Party, from serving as the Young Democrats president in Shelby County, the president of the Tennessee Young Democrats, and on the state party, I built relationships across the state. And considering who's running on the Republican side, I felt I'd be the most formidable candidate to take on Brent Taylor, who was basically, this district was carved in his favor. For him, essentially, yes, because they basically drew his house in the district, I guess. So those were all the things I was thinking about. So when I found out he was not going to run where he lives, Pearson, I called him. I had a conversation with him. I told him up front, I said, I think it's disingenuous to run in the district that you don't live in, because how are you going to run for office and you can't even vote for yourself? Like, that doesn't even make sense. And on top of most of us in the legislature, we are on the ballot as well for our state house seats. So I was like, why are you running for your state house seats in one district and then running for another position in a whole nother district? You could run where you live and you already have a base of people that will vote for you. Like I will have a base of people. And then you have two strong Democratic candidates coming out of Memphis, right? I made the argument he didn't want to hear it, and that's fine. He wants to stay there, and I respect that, right? And I understand that. But at the end of the day, primary elections exist for a reason, to allow Democrats to run and present who is the best candidate to represent our issues and allow the voters to decide, not the party. The voters decide who's going to be the Democratic candidate in a primary. And so because I felt like I had the best chance of giving the Democrats a winning chance in the general election in this district, I put myself up to win, and that's what I did. But that's the story behind what actually happened. I didn't know he was running for 9 when I first pulled a petition, and even when I found out, I still made the argument that you need to run where you live, and 2, I would probably be the most formidable candidate for this type of race.
Yeah. Okay. What did go ahead? You had a question.
I think like the general people, we talked about this last time. A lot of people don't know about the primary in general. That's the big. That's for me being regular. So I'm like the regular outside in the questions. Like a lot of people don't understand that part about the primary in general, where you guys can't essentially run against each other when we have to run against a Republican. I think they think it's just like one race and we just divide them all across, and it's. People are not understanding that. And I was one of the people who didn't understand, y'all. And I have a whole master's, okay? I'm going to put it out there.
Not in civics.
Whatever. Well, don't get me started about us. Anyways, I ain't going to say that. But no, I'm being honest and transparent because somebody needs to know. And a lot of people are blabbing about it, and you really don't understand. So I think I was one of those people. I'm so serious. So I just had to say that. So maybe
I think that's good because again, what's always our mission? Our mission is always we want to educate. We want to educate. We want to entertain too, but we want to educate first. And this goes back to Civics 101. This is a primary election, just like the county elections that we just came out of, where the primary elections, where Democrat runs against Democrat, Republican runs against Republican, and then the winners of those meet and go head to head in the general election, which will be in November. So this primary election is going to take place in August. What's our date for the primary election?
August 6th.
Man, I'm ready for that one, right? August
Come on
6th.
now.
August 6th. That's real election. And early voting starts in the middle of July. I think it's like around August 7th.
It's July 17th. Yeah, my birthday is July 14th. Yeah, it's not July 14th?
It could. It could be a day off, so whatever.
Yeah, so early voting start. It's not far off. That's
it's
less than 90 days.
It's already here.
How far is it?
It's a 6-week sprint. And let me tell you this. I understand I'm essentially, quote unquote, starting behind the finish line, like to what a lot of people want to argue because, I just jumped in this race. But I tell people this is a new congressional campaign because the lines were redrawn and we're here now. Yeah. So all of those who are in this race are running sprinting, right? I know that there is benefits to for those who have already were in running, that gives them a head start. But at the end of the day, I know me and I know how I campaign. And I know the excitement around the idea of me jumping into this race. I've already had people donating money. I already had people investing in this race because I represent Democrats too. There is not, the Democratic Party is not one monolithic party. We are a Big Tent party. There are moderates, there are progressives, there are conservative Democrats all across the spectrum, and they have an opportunity to choose the candidate that they feel are the best. And so that is why I put myself in a primary to allow the candidate that they want to choose. And I'm woman enough to understand that whoever wins the primary, we gonna get behind them to be in the general, because the ultimate goal is to beat the Republicans. But we also want to give voters to decide which Democrat is the best to take on this fight in the general election.
Okay, you talked about raising funds and changing your campaigns. What does it take to run a race? I don't think people understand how their support is very significant in being successful. Like, what does it cost to run a campaign of this magnitude? I really want to know.
I mean, it's going to cost several $100,000. So
some people think it's like 20,000. I'm like, no.
It could be in the general, it's going to cost a couple million, right? So yes, we do need people to invest in London Lamar. If you are interested in supporting my candidacy in this primary, donate to me. We have the Act Blue will be up soon, or you can go to londonlamar.com to donate currently. And we're just going to raise money. We're going to get out there and talk to voters. We are going to put our messaging out there, connect with people all across the district. This is just not a Memphis campaign. This is a congressional District 9 campaign. And that includes people not only in Memphis, but includes the southern border. It includes Hardeman County, Fayette County, Murray County, Pulaski County, Lewisburg, all of these different areas across Tennessee where Democrats are present, but they never necessarily had a Democrat to actually, run to vote for. And so I plan to, all of the Democratic candidates in this race are going to excite a dormant Democratic base.
Yeah,
and we're going to show
yeah,
them.
I think we need to come back to that too as soon as I tell this comment. But because shout out to Miranda for sending a comment from Facebook, and she's really roasting me. She said you can have a bachelor's, a master's, and PhD and not understand that is perfectly okay because civic knowledge is not accessible to every single person consistently. Hey, Miranda, you're actually right. You know, one of my first pieces of legislation when I got elected was to put local civics in 6th grade mandatory, state civics in 7th grade mandatory, federal civics in 8th grade mandatory, and they basically ran me out of the committee room saying you cannot tell the Department of Education what to put in the curriculum. Right. But you would think it's common sense because my argument was, how do we create our next leaders if they don't even understand how the fuck government works?
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah. Now, what was the point I was coming back to that you had just said?
About how much it costs to run. We talking about running, how much it costs to run campaigns in different counties in the Democratic, sparking Democratic, maybe dormant.
Thank you for that. Thank you for it, man. She is my ADHD.
It's been a long day. We had a couple of weeks.
Oh God, the last 3 weeks. But let me say this though. You know, I think in London said something. You know, because I was going to pull for Congressional District 8, right? And London, and I hats off to London Lamar, who was standing up a campaign. Man, you understand?
Baby, you
standing up
a
congressional campaign. Right on top of her state Senate campaign,
and she a whole mama,
and a whole mama at that. We're gonna come back to that too.
Going through the terrible
right,
thank you.
Terrible too.
And you know, but I think that the Republican members of the Tennessee House and Tennessee Senate, I think they made a fundamental mistake because they woke a sleeping giant in Democrats, right? And other Republicans that don't agree with the bullshit that they have done. There are Republicans that say that they don't agree with this stuff, right? And so hats off to you, London, and you know,
and let me tell you this, you know, even though it's essentially being said that it was drawn for one favorite Republican, he got a primary too.
He sure
so
does.
I don't accept the Democrats saying, you know, we need to choose one person or we need to clear the way. And there is multiple independents running, there are multiple Republicans running, there are multiple Democrats running. Primary elections exist for a reason. Sure, it'd be nice if, you know, there was one candidate or whatever, but that's just not the case. And it's never really been the case. Typically, it's very rare you see primaries and congressional seats go unchallenged unless you are a strong incumbent. You know, this is an opportunity for us. This district is essentially new now, right? It's not the old congressional 9, it's new. So we are trying to decide in the newest district what this actually looks like for all of us. And so I think we all have a right to run. And so I'm no longer necessarily entertaining a conversation around, you know, who should run, who should not, who should get out or whatever. It's here. I'm qualified to run. My petitions are good. I'm in the race. There are several others in the race, and what I'm going to do is run my campaign. I'm going to raise the money I need to do what I want to do to execute the strategies I feel like are best for this election, and we'll see who wins. And you know, if I get it, great. We go hard in a general election, and if I don't, okay, I put myself out there and I try to offer an alternative for Democrats, and we go support who the nominee is.
And here's the thing too. I want to say, you know, one is, y'all black folks, to my people,
Jesus.
I've been saying this, I've been beating the drums about this. They want us to argue, fuss, and fight over dumb shit. Honestly, nobody owns the seat. This is an open seat, literally a brand new district that anybody could have run for.
Absolutely.
And so you know, and you know, nobody owns the seat, right? Nobody owns the seat. Actually, when you look at the fact that Congressman Cohen has stepped down and has decided not to run, and we're going to run some video in just a second, but when you look at that, it is an open seat, right? And everybody has the opportunity to run. Let's run that video on Congressman Cohen, then we're going to sweep in and come right back to this comment. We got an interesting comment on our page, man. They in there. They comment.
This is by far the most difficult moment I've had as an elected official. I signed a paper that I will send to Nashville for noon Central Time as the deadline, stating that I do request not to be on the ballot, which otherwise, if I didn't make the statement, they would keep me on the ballot in the 9th District. If you have a congressional delegation that has 9 members, and they're all Republican, and they all bend a knee to Donald Trump, which they've done on this redistricting. This is for Donald Trump to get one more vote, he thinks, to stop him from being impeached. I feel bad for my constituents because a lot of them come up to me regularly and say, please, we're for you, and don't quit. Don't quit. I've had people tell me, recently as today, African American and Caucasian, don't quit. And I don't want to quit. I'm not a quitter. But these districts were drawn to beat me. They were drawn to defeat me.
You're watching the Antonio Parkinson Project.
Okay, and so look, that was Congressman Cohen, and let's give it up for Congressman Cohen, who served 20 years in the Memphis Congressional District 9 seat, and so we got a comment, and shout out to all the people that's commenting. This is from Roderick Nunley. Roderick says, as an independent, I'm very proud of you for running. However, what is your platform for our rural communities? How can you improve agriculture? How can you use the rural areas to help with food deserts? Absolutely. And how can you, I guess, can you go beyond party affiliation to bring all people together? You got all that? You want me to do it again?
Yes, absolutely. I think I got all of that. If I missed some parts, just reiterate. So I think that's a great question because it continues on what I was beginning to say. This new Congressional District 9 has both an urban area, a rural area, and a suburban area, all three. And so what my platform is about unifying people around kitchen tables issues. It's not about being Democrat or Republican. It's about, can you afford your rent? Can you afford high gas? Do you have healthcare access? Do you got to drive 30 minutes to the nearest hospital? You know, can you have a child in your own community and not be at risk of dying? Can you be able to have strong public school systems right where you live and not have to go to a private school or any other type of institution and pay all of this money just to get a good education? Every community, whether you're urban, rural, or urban or suburban, all deserve strong public education schools. So it's about bringing kitchen table issues. It's about making Tennessee a better place for all people. And that's not Democrat or Republican. That is saying you are a person, right? And you deserve to be able to take care of your family without having to work 2 to 3 jobs, right? You should be able to go on a vacation a year. You should be able not to be able to have like all of these challenges. And so what does that look like in the congressional seat? One is advocating for federal money to come down and subsidize work to increase agriculture, right? So a lot of farmers are having difficulty just buying the tech that they need to keep their farms up, the equipment that they need.
And they lost money because Trump messed up with China, our biggest importer of agricultural products.
Do you have the land in China? Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Can you afford the shipping of the feed? Like all of those things. So it's creating subsidies and grant programs for people in these rural areas to continue farming, because at the end of the day, robots can't farm, people do, right? So it is about making sure we can invest in those rural communities so they can too create a real strong agriculture infrastructure and economic infrastructure around agriculture to be sustainable, because improving agriculture in the rural areas improve agriculture in the urban areas because they are able to sell us food in the urban areas who don't have the land, who don't have the urban gardens to grow food. So we're dependent on these farmers in these areas to be able to service urban cores with the food and resources that they need.
Yeah, we got another comment. Shout out to Marvin Wigington, rising star in local politics. He said, I've heard from numerous parents and students that they're telling the kids that they can't vote until they're 21. So let's kill that right now. So that is a lie.
I said, see, now I don't feel bad for not knowing. It's two. Yes, I don't feel bad now.
Yeah. So and he continues that civic education is incredibly important. It's very important. We appreciate that. But look, here's what's important. If you are 17 and you will be 18 before this election comes up in November, you can register to vote and you can vote when that election comes up.
And let me tell you,
I didn't know that either.
Online. You don't have to, if you want to do a paper voter registration, turn it in, great. And remember, people, if you're hosting voter registration drives, you got to turn them those papers in 15 days before 15 days. Or you go get in trouble. But you don't even have to go through that. Do it from your phone. And we can sit up on Instagram and Facebook and all of this stuff all day. You can simply go to Secretary of State's website, go to register to vote, do it right there from your phone.
And let me tell you what that URL is: govotn.gov. That's out. govotn.gov. Somebody put that in the comments for everybody. Q, can you put comments in there? Yeah, govotn.gov. That is to if you want to register to vote, or better yet, you can go to the officialvoterguide.com. That's it, and you can register to vote on the officialvoterguide.com. Click on voter info and click on register to vote. Absolutely. Right here at the officialvoterguide.com. We got you covered too. Period. Right. Yeah, absolutely. And but that's vitally important, because I think it's going to take, that those individuals that are asleep, those Democrats that are asleep, those black folks that are asleep, make sure they get up to vote, because when we get to this next segment and talk about this 14th Amendment, baby, y'all have no idea. I'm trying to tell y'all, they're trying to put your black asses back in slavery.
Okay. And wake up and sleep on the ship.
Folks are not back somewhere. And look, we're gonna go to break real quick after this. And I want to come back and I forgot to pull a video, and maybe I can pull it in the break if Q run long enough commercial. Damn Chud the Builder, he's facing them black folks in jail now, y'all.
Did he shoot somebody, a black man?
We're gonna talk about that in the next segment. So don't go anywhere. Hit that subscribe button. If you are watching and commenting, please, we expect you to share this video so that your folks can see you be the superstar on the Antonio Parkinson Project. Hit that subscribe button. We'll be right back. You're watching the Antonio Parkinson Project.
You're watching the Antonio Parkinson Project.
Don't just wish for a better life. This book shows you the formula, not the fake path, a true path that actually works. I've been watching people make the same mistake over and over. People will be like, I'll just pray for it and have faith and just wait. Blah, blah, blah. And they're still waiting today. Come on, people. This dude, the author, Antonio Parkinson, has exposed the traditional lies, or better yet, quote unquote, omissions we never got taught. Here's the ugly truth. And I'm a self-victim of this too, because we can't blame anyone but ourselves, because there's so much information out there that we have no excuses for not living our best lives. So this really amounts to self-deception. But anyway, he wrote a book full of lessons here, and it woke me up to the fact that it's not really only about the prayer. He's not advocating against that. It's about capacity or making room. This is about you, okay? So what you need to do now, because it's pretty powerful, is open up your mindset. It was a simple, honest reality check for me. And I mean it. Look, I'm not going to gatekeep this information. If you want the book, just comment link and I'll send it to you. It's that simple.
If you want to have the best local government, you need to make informed choices. That's where the Official Voter Guide comes in, making it easier to spot real leaders and cut through political noise. Look around. This is ridiculous. We can't keep doing the same thing and expecting different results. It just won't work. Download your Official Voter Guide and let's clean house together. The Official Voter Guide lists community-focused candidates who have served their communities first before deciding to run for office. These are not politicians. These are servants. And now they are running for office in Memphis and Shelby County elections. The Official Voter Guide brings them to us in a clean, easy-to-read format. Download it ahead of time, share it with family and friends, and walk into that booth already knowing your choices. It's free, and it's built specifically for voters right here in our beloved Memphis. Share it, text it, email it, hand out printed copies to women in your circle who need it just as much as you do. Local elections shape everything around us. Go in prepared, not panicked. Get yours at theofficialvoterguide.com.
You're watching the Antonio Parkinson Project.
Streamer Chud the Builder has been charged with attempted murder and could now face more than 25 years in prison. On Wednesday afternoon, 28-year-old Dalton Etherly was live streaming near the Montgomery County Courthouse in Clarksville, Tennessee, when he got into a confrontation with another man. According to police, the man began pointing at Etherly and laughing at him during the stream. Police say the man then warned Etherly to stop making racist remarks. Moments later, the man punched Etherly. That's when Chud allegedly pulled out a handgun. He then shot the man in the stomach while the live stream was still running. During the incident, Chud repeatedly claimed he was acting in self-defense. Both men were taken to the hospital and are currently reported to be in stable condition. Etherly has since been charged with attempted murder, aggravated assault, and multiple firearm-related offenses. The court has denied bond. The case is drawing even more attention because just weeks earlier, Chud had already gone viral after being arrested for allegedly refusing to pay a restaurant bill while live streaming and provoking employees. Many people online now believe he had turned real-life confrontations into content for views and attention. The biggest debate online is whether this was truly self-defense or whether the situation escalated because of behavior intentionally meant to provoke conflict on camera. What do you think?
Okay.
You're watching the Antonio Parkinson Project.
This rat bastard.
Oh my God.
Chad
Really?
or Chud or Screw, whatever the fuck.
We on one tonight. We on one tonight, baby.
Yeah, man. You know, I wasn't aware of them until the little sisters was saying that they were fans of his. I don't even want to play that video.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, and my little brother, he reached out to me from Colorado. He said, "Hey, man, what's going on with them girls, man?" And them running up and talking about they like Chud the Builder. I was like, who the hell is Chud the Builder? He's like, that's the white dude that goes around and calls folks the N-word and tries to and dares them to say anything to him.
Oh wow.
And
wow.
and his social media blew up from that, right? Well, he did it, got into it with some folks, and then he shot at them, grazed one dude in the arm. And he's gotten charges, real charges. And this happened in Clarksville. This Ronnie Glenn's district, right? And so he's gotten charged, and his bond was set at $1.25 million. So these are real charges, but they are saying that there's a GoFundMe or something set up.
He'll get it.
It's a lot of money pouring in for his defense, on these charges. And some of these charges are attempted murder or I'm sorry, aggravated assault. What is it, Q?
Aggravated assault. I think attempted murder.
Yeah, ag assault, attempted murder. There were some other ones in there too I was like, dang, how did that fit? But yeah, but he's facing some real time, and he has a good attorney. And I forgot the attorney's name, but I've heard his name before. And
if he make it,
he's gonna get off because he got a good attorney.
You know how that works. You know how that works. But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. They were discussing his bail. I think the bail was set at $1.25 million, which is a lot. I think you got to come up with about 125,000 or something like this, 10%. But what's interesting though, in the interim, you in there with them black folks.
Say the N-word now. Let's see if they still laugh about it.
If
he make it out, he gonna have about 4 teeth missing.
Yeah, them folks know what's going on.
But enough of that bullshit. House members, Tennessee House members. Y'all know. So let me Senator Lamar, you brought this to everybody's attention in the previous segment, talking about the traumatic situations that we've all been dealing with in both Tennessee House and Tennessee Senate. Right. And Senator Lamar, when you first got elected to Tennessee House, right?
Oh, we bring this.
Oh, yeah, we got to talk about this. We got to talk about this. Senator Lamar, she's feisty, right? She's feisty and she's honest.
Power to the people.
Right. And
power to the people.
And she is direct. But the beautiful thing about her is this, I know, because we carry lots of legislation together. We've passed lots of legislation together, right? And one of the things she says how she feels, right? And when she was first elected, she said how she felt, right, when she came into the Tennessee House. And of course, you want to tell them how you felt back then?
Yeah, so I would address it because I'm pretty sure it's gonna come up on the campaign trail. But when I first got elected, that was when the MAGA movement started to really ramp up. Right?
Yeah. Nathan Bedford Forrest is buses in the Capitol.
Was like the Republican
stuff.
Party was beginning to start running on that very hyper racial rhetoric, right? Like the undertones and the saying the things that are targeting certain racial groups, specifically Black people and brown people, like the Latina X community. And so when I first got elected, I did a Facebook Live, because then Facebook Live was the thing, and it's still live, but I was reading CNN exit polls, and I realized that certain races of people voted consistently with a certain Democratic Party. So it was like the majority of white people voted Republican, the majority of people of color with some white voted Democrat, right? Based, and then the rhetoric. So I was like, Tennessee voted racist. So it went viral, y'all.
Right. She coming off the ropes.
Okay, so it was like, I was like, and I'm new to, like, I've been in politics, but I was just my first election, and like people were calling for my resignation. Like, how dare you say that? It wasn't necessarily popular still then on our side to really call out racial injustices, right? And so I got dragged. It was so scary because I was like getting death threats and things like that. And I was like, the things I was saying with it were things I was reading off CNN exit polls.
Right.
So I like didn't get to pass any legislation my freshman year. I was blackballed and all those things. And I had to start from scratch, rebuilding my relationships. One of the lessons I learned in that is quote your sources, right?
Come on.
Because I did not say where I was getting my facts from. I was just talking. So it was like, it made it seem like I was just saying stuff versus I was actually reading data.
How old were you back then?
I was 27 when that happened. And then I entered the legislature when I was 28 years old. So I had to start from scratch, rebuilding my relationships with people on the other side who were skeptical, because I was seen as this girl who was coming in very divisive and all this other stuff. Radical. They didn't know me. Very radical. That's why I actually feel for my opponent. When I was a junior legislator, I was making mistakes too. Right. That's a part of like
the learning curve.
The learning curve, right? So instead of saying I'm just gonna continue polarizing myself, I decided that I would rather be an effective legislator, right? Because the reality situation is the demographics of the political party demographics of the legislature are what they are. It's supermajority Republican, and it's not going to change for a while unless Democrats just come do some serious organizing work over the next decade. I get it, and they gerrymandered the state, right? But there were ways I was like, okay, well, I may not agree with you on this. I'm gonna call you out about the things that I felt like were disingenuous and racial towards my community, but I'm also going to be a legislator to find where is their common interest too. Because I can't just be the one just hollering and screaming all the time. Then my district gets nothing. Right. And I don't want to be the legislator coming back home to Memphis and having my town halls and can't tell them I passed the bill. It didn't feel good because I've been there. And so I grew. I built relationships. I matured. And I still held true to my values. The first one was I knew I held true to my values when we were one of the first states to do that. What was it? The woke. You can't talk about race.
Divisive concepts. CRT.
Yes, critical race theory.
Yeah.
So I was talking
bullshit. Right.
It still is.
And the stuff then got worse, right? So, I didn't, when I was doing this stuff, I didn't have a base of activists and stuff having my back. I was just speaking truth to power, because at the end of the day, whether one person with me or 1,000 or 1,000,000 people with me, who I am as a person, my core belief always supersede popularity, because I didn't get elected to be popular. I got elected to bring policy back to my people. And so for me, it was about speaking truth to power and figuring out how I can get things done despite the challenges that face me. And I think that's another reason why I ran for Congress. I'm running for Congress now is because Congress flips back and forth historically every couple of years. A couple of 2-year cycles, it could be Democrat. A couple of 2-year cycles, it could be Republican. I don't think that should be a barrier to if you can be effective. You should be a legislator who can find ways to work with people despite what the political makeup is. And I did that. And so I focused on common interests. And I focused on the things that I felt like I can do for my community that they can get online with, which is maternal health. So when I think about my story around my freshman year, also losing my baby in front of the whole world and returning to session 2 months later after it happened, I didn't again, go into despair, continue to polarize myself. I said, I'm looking at the statistics and I'm thinking, this issue impacting y'all too. We have the #1 maternal mortality rate in the country right now.
Yes.
In the country. And rural women are dying just like black women in Memphis. So what can I do in this pro-life state to make sure I can focus on women, black, white, urban, rural, suburban, whoever, rich, poor, have the ability to have a family and not die on the table or die during the pregnancy process. And that would allow me to continue to build relationships across the aisle where they were able to see me in a different light than just this girl, you know, doing all the things or whatever. And, you know, it was cool then, but I'm a mother now. So there's like the end of time, I'm a mother right now. And I think that for all the moms who watching, you know what, like the level of maturity, how being a mom bosses you up, it changes you, right? And it no longer, becoming a mom made me realize in life, and as we should realize as politicians, it's not always about you. It's about the future. And that is why my campaign slogan has always been and will continue to be being since I've been elected is for our families and for our future. Because mom taught me how to be for the future. I don't just legislate for me and my crony of friends who want to see me being famous all the time or acting a fool on TV. I am going to legislate so my child and all of your children lives can be better than it was the day before. And that's what this campaign is about.
So they ain't putting them back in slavery.
Okay.
Hey.
Speaking of lives and being better, what about that amendment change that's possibly happening? That's not to the better.
Not yet. That's in 3. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
We gonna make it to 3.
But I do want to ask Senator Lamar. You told us a story before. You know, tell us where you know, me and you talked about this, man. Look, y'all have no idea, man. Look, we've been riding together for a long time. Seriously. You know, and you tell us, you know, to what extent you want to, you know, why is your motivation for maternal health? What's behind it?
Well, before I experienced my loss at 8 months pregnant, I also witnessed my cousin die at 8 months pregnant, dropped dead outside her job.
Oh man!
And that was her third time trying to have a baby. Each time she almost died, and the third time took her out.
My goodness!
And so when you get called to a hospital to look at a dead body and a dead baby from attempted to bring life into this world, it changes your view on this issue. And so that sparked my interest in. I was already interested, but really a deep interest in maternal health, right? Because a lot of time when we think about reproductive justice and rights and things like that, we just think about abortion. Like, first of all, abortion is illegal now, and the Supreme Court did an injustice to us as women by doing that. However, now that we are here, if you are pregnant, I want to make sure you make it to the finish line alive. I want to make sure you make it to the finish line with your baby happy, healthy, and at birth rate. I want to make sure you have access to health care. And that is not just an urban area. These women in the rural areas got to travel a whole hour.
Because their people cause their hospitals to close.
That's why we running for Congress. Right. We need federal resources back into these areas to open up healthcare centers, to reopen these maternity wards, to make sure we can get doctors and doulas and nurse practitioners and nurses all in these communities to help everybody. You should not have to live in a rural area and be more at risk of dying than anybody else. You should not be, because you are Black, should not be the reason that you're more likely to die than anybody else. Because you are poor should not be the reason you're more likely to die than anybody else. This campaign is grounded in everybody. I may be a Black woman, but I'm not running for Black people. I'm running because I am a Black woman and understand the challenges that face. But I think the challenges that face us are the challenges that face everybody. Right? I am trying to be the people's champion in a real way.
This is and I tell people, man, our most viral clip on this show is a clip that I said, okay, I got to put it up. Is a clip that I said, you'll never ever see a white person from wealth riding around with a Confederate flag on the corner of his bed of his pickup truck. And you'll never ever see a Black person from wealth running around shouting Black Lives Matter, because they know the fight and the division is down here amongst the people that are struggling to get by. And it benefits them to keep them divided. When you think about a rural white woman who's pregnant and threatening a miscarriage at 2:00 in the morning and has to drive 2 hours to get to a hospital or to get somebody to help her, the likelihood of her losing that baby elevates exponentially, right? Versus that when there were hospitals in rural communities that we fought for to keep them there, and their own people that they vote for, the Republicans, man, killed their hospitals.
Absolutely.
And now people are losing lives because of the policies not to expand Medicaid, to allow people to have insurance, to allow the hospitals to continue to keep their doors open. Those policies are problematic. And I'm gonna say this to my people, Black people: if you are standing by on the sidelines and not voting with these old excuses of my vote don't count and this, that, and other, you are part of the problem. And honestly, you are traitorous to your own people and to your ancestry, who literally got a rope put around their neck, and their neck broke when they pulled that horse or that sled from under them and let them hang in the community squares.
And let me tap into this. That's exactly why they felt like they can do this with the redrawing of the lines. They are expecting you all to sit at home. They are expecting you to give up and say, oh, this is another thing that happens. But if we truly realize our power, and we register to vote, if we have these conversations at the kitchen table, and if we mobilize, let's beyond my race or anything. Let's just talk about what we would do for our community all around if we mobilize and exercise our power.
Yes.
You know, it ain't gonna be 9-0 congressional districts. It could be 6-3.
Yes, and that's a win.
That's a win.
That's a huge.
That's
win.
a win.
Yes, that's a huge win. That's a gain of a couple of seats. We got a question. This question is: what kind of grade would you give yourself for getting things done for your current constituents? What bill did you help pass to help with the number one problem that was common to all of your constituents?
Well,
what grade would you give yourself?
Okay, the first question is what grade? I would say a B.
I would say A-. Honestly, that's what I would say.
Oh, I'm being humble.
Okay, yeah, you're being very kind. Right?
And I say that understanding that I am what I've done in a supermajority Republican legislature as a Democrat. I am sometimes impressed with myself that I have been able to get some things done. You know, when my number one issue, of course, everybody knows, is first maternal health. Right. And I say even the stuff that I'm one that pushed the doulas to get them recognized as vital members of the childbirthing team. Got the $1 million for doulas in the governor's budget a couple of years ago. I have made sure that I passed legislation to encourage TennCare to bring them on for reimbursements. I made doulas popular, and those are one of the number one resources pregnant women use today. In addition to that, just this year, beyond that, I got $500,000 allocated to the Department of Health for stillbirth support. People don't know when your baby dies, you have to pay to bury them with dignity. You have to, and I didn't went through it, and I didn't have money like a lot of other people. So now we have a stillbirth fund at the Department of Health that has $500,000 to help women across the state with burial services for their stillbirth children and to provide education resources for themselves. That's $1.5 million right there that I brought back to the state as well, that people in my district can use. Secondly, I champion criminal justice reform.
And I'm right beside it because I'll be her house sponsor on the stuff.
Okay, what was that bill?
The parents pushing their kids into crime with kids.
We had a piece of legislation that holds folks accountable, grown folks accountable to facilitating crimes of minor. There is no reason that a grown person should be getting kids to do crimes with them. You are already giving them a short end of the stick before their lives even started. And I just think that's absolutely unfair. If that kid is under 18 years, 17 and under, leave them alone and give them a shot at life without putting them on a prison pipeline and you expediting the part. Right. But I'm also a pro-gun rights person. I'm a Second Amendment person. I own a gun just like everybody else.
We both are. We are.
We are. But
pro-gun
I'm
Democrats.
also the last couple of years been the one pushing the legislation to bring the permitting process back.
Yes.
So if you can drive a car, you got to get a license to drive a car, which is a deadly instrument. You should just get a license to have a gun,
Yeah.
right? And make sure that you at least know the laws and the rules
Yeah.
around that. I don't believe in taking away your gun rights, but I do believe you need to be educated and responsible so that we can create safety communities.
Yeah.
And I would even say, even to my folks in the rural area who are my pro-gun folks, I voted against, you know, many of my Democrats for the ability to protect your property.
Look, me too. I voted for it too. Look.
Okay, so let me tell you why.
Let's talk
let me tell you why.
And I'm gonna tell you.
Y'all remember the stories in Memphis? One, the father who got killed because those kids were stealing his car. And then there are folks who got
the carport. There was a lady though that was scared to come out and defend herself.
right.
Remember that? Go ahead though.
And then so it also, if somebody's on your property, and you know how much cars cost. At this point, people paying more for their car notes than their mortgage or their rent. It is a real value. The fact that you can't defend your property, such as your vehicle, when somebody's stealing it on your property, to me, you know, I can't get with that. I'm like, that's not fair. I feel your car, to me, if you don't need a permit to have a gun in your car, your house, you should be able to defend your car in your house.
I agree, and I think the majority of people agree with you and me on it because I voted with Republicans on that. Because this, if somebody is out there trying to steal your car, this is your means to get to the place where you need to get to feed your family.
They playing with your livelihood,
and you're just gonna sit there and let them do it. Bullshit. I'm with. I said I'm with you. I wish I could push that yes button harder.
hit it twice.
Hit it twice because you should be able to defend your shit. And now for those people, I want to make sure our people are educated. We talked about this before in the previous show. You know, if you are going to defend your stuff, then your defense of your stuff, you trying to defend it, there has to be the possibility that your life is in danger in the defense of your stuff. And so we don't want you just going out there shooting folks because they taking the bike.
Walk by
and
you.
then because
I think the caveat is you got to see a weapon.
Oh yeah, that's one of the caveats. But it could be that it's a person, it's a gang of people out there. It's people bigger than you. It's you know, and if you trying to defend your stuff, there has to be that it could harm your life or your health in the defense of your stuff. So don't go out there just shooting people willy-nilly. Right.
Please don't. Please don't.
Yeah. So look, when we come back, we are going to talk about the 14th Amendment. Y'all don't go anywhere. You got to watch the segment because we are going to walk you what I think is the pattern and the plan.
It's crazy.
On behalf of these Republicans.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Don't go anywhere. You don't want to miss this. Share this because you need everybody to hear this. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the Antonio Parkinson Project.
You're watching the Antonio Parkinson Project.
Oh my God, have you guys heard about this book? It literally says, stop praying for more when you're still full of shit. One of my close girlfriends sent it to me. I was offended for about 3 seconds, and then I realized it was talking about me. She said the book helped her get unstuck. I'm like, unstuck from what? She said none of her prayers were being answered, but after doing only one of the things that she read in the book, stuff started happening. It explains why nothing new can come into your life when your life is clogged up because you're holding on to old shit, basically. Now she's doing all the steps in the book, and I ain't gonna lie, her life is different. Girl, I wish I would have read it when she did. This book is not playing. Damn. Comment book if you want me to forward you the link.
You're watching the Antonio Parkinson Project.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to the Antonio Parkinson Project. You're watching the fastest growing and the award-winning Destin Black.
Say that. Award winning.
Let's give it up for that. Number 1, baby. Yes. All right, y'all. So I want to touch on this, and I hope everybody is watching this because there's been rumblings of the Supreme Court overturning the 14th Amendment, and this I want to explain how important this is. Do we have 1 or 2 videos on there, Q, We should have one with the lady on it. Okay, run that video and then we'll come back to it.
Tennessee House Democrats were just kicked out of their committee.
Hey, y'all. So they finally said it out loud on camera with their whole chest. Alabama's House Speaker Nathaniel Ledbetter stood in front of the press after his state passed a redistricting bill and said, and I quote, "I certainly hope the Supreme Court will overturn Amendment 14," end quote. I need you to understand what he means. You see, the 14th Amendment is not a technicality. It's not a redistricting footnote. It's the amendment that made black people citizens of this country after 250 years of enslavement, ratified in 1868, written in blood. It says you are a citizen. It says you have equal protections under the law. It says no state can strip your rights without due process. It is the legal spine of every civil rights victory we have ever won. And Ledbetter hopes the Supreme Court throws it in the trash. That's not a redistricting argument, ladies and gentlemen. That's a declaration. See, they're not hiding under their white hoods and robes anymore. They are not dog whistling. They are standing at a podium saying, "We want the amendment that made you citizens gone." This is happening right now in real time, 2026. And the only thing they're afraid of, the only reason they want to erase that amendment is because they know what we do when we show up. So show up. And remind every black and brown person that voted for this. Jim Crow had a hood. This version has a law degree and a press conference.
You're watching the Antonio Parkinson Project.
We had never talked about anything serious. This is most serious, one of the most serious things that we've talked about. It probably the top. Probably
Pay attention.
These rumblings. Do we have another video? You see it with the Alabama Speaker of the House on there. You see that one, Q?
So, yeah.
Yeah, run that, Q.
Well, it certainly gives us an opportunity to look at those congressional districts again. Gives us a chance at all of them if we get some reprieve from courts, and so we'll see how that goes, and certainly hope that the Supreme Court will overturn Amendment 14 and gives us a shot to revisit those.
What would you?
Now that was the Alabama Speaker of the House.
Wow.
Of their Tennessee House, who is saying he's hoping. He's hoping. That means it's already before the Supreme Court. Mm-hmm. He's hoping that they overturn the 14th Amendment, just like they did Roe versus Wade, the Voting Rights Act, and now the 14th Amendment. Let me tell you what the 14th Amendment is.
I was gonna say, please tell
people. The 14th Amendment is the amendment that said all black people are citizens of the United States. Mm-hmm. Let that sink in. Mm-hmm. And you saw where the Alabama Speaker of the House, so probably one of the top 3 most powerful people in the state of Alabama, said he's hoping, meaning that it's already before the Supreme Court, they overturn Amendment 14. And this is what the 14th Amendment says. Q, put up the first one. It says that in Section 1, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States. Nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of the law. Mm-hmm. Now, we saw that happening when ICE was arresting U.S. citizens under the auspice of them being non-U.S. citizens. But we know some people were showing them their U.S. citizen IDs and they were still arresting them. That it was a violation of their 14th Amendment. Section 2 says, representatives shall be apportioned among the several states according to their respective numbers, counting the whole number of persons in each state, excluding Indians not taxed. But when the right to vote at any election for the choice of electors for president and vice president of the United States, representatives in Congress, the executive and judicial officers of a state, or the members of the legislature thereof, is denied, voting is denied to any male, to any of the male inhabitants of such state being 21 years of age and citizens of the United States, or in a way abridged except for participation in rebellion or other crime, the basis of representation therein shall be reduced in proportion which the number of such male citizens shall bear to the whole number of male citizens 21 years of age in each such state. Now we know that is women and men, right, of the age of 21. Section 3, no person shall be a senator or a representative in Congress or elector of president or vice president or hold any office, civil or military, under the United States or under any state, who, having previously taken an oath as a member of Congress or as an officer in the United States or as a member of the state legislature or as an executive or judicial officer in any state to support the Constitution of the United States, shall have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the same, that's the United States or a state, and or given comfort to the enemies thereof. But Congress may, by a vote of 2/3 of each house, remove such disability. I wonder who they're talking about. Section 4, last one, is the validity of the public debt. You putting 4 up, Q? The validity of the public debt of the United States authorized by law, including debts incurred for payment of pensions and bounties for service in suppressing insurrection or rebellion, shall not be questioned, meaning they can pay to suppress it, right? But neither the United States nor the state shall assume or pay any debt or obligation incurred in aid of insurrection or emancipation of any slave. So now, Section 5, the Congress shall have power to enforce by appropriate legislation the provisions of this article. Now, remember, this is one of the things that they are trying to overturn. Now, we're all fighting, and rightfully so. We're fighting over redistricting of Congress, but the bigger play is the 14th Amendment.
Wow.
So to summarize this, basically, the 14th Amendment says everyone born in or naturalized in the United States is a U.S. citizen. Every citizen must be treated fairly under the law. The states cannot discriminate against you under the law. And so these are citizenship, due process, and equal protection.
Yes, that they're trying to overturn.
Now, guess if they do this, it will be legal to say black only restaurant, white only restaurant.
It'll be legal to say.
It'll be legal.
It'll be legal to say black people are not citizens of the United States,
that's the bigger
which could make you illegal.
And then they're
send you back to where?
That triggers ICE.
Right.
And send you back to where?
Prison or
detain,
El Salvador.
detain.
They just gonna drop you off somewhere.
Right. And here's what's interesting, right? Look, this is the pattern I'm seeing. This is the pattern I'm seeing. So if you think about it, we went from slavery, Civil War, Reconstruction, Jim Crow, Civil Rights Movement, Voting Rights Act, Roe v. Wade, affirmative action, and then you watch them peel it back the opposite direction. Affirmative action, Roe v. Wade, right? Civil rights. Right? And what's next is Jim Crow, Reconstruction, Civil War, slavery. They're just working it back. If you look at the pattern, they're just working it backwards, right? And while we are all trying to learn the next line dance or trying to find our fans, which we need to find them in here because it's hot as hell.
Where them fans
we are asleep at the wheel while they are literally trying to make this country a white country. And that should be sobering. That should be sobering to every one of our people that are watching. And shout out to Clarissa Williams. Yes, it is unconstitutional, but they can make it constitutional. Here's what happened. I want y'all to think about this. With their push to redraw these lines, if they get 2/3 of Congress, they can call a constitutional convention and change the Constitution of the United States.
Damn.
So this is why that voting is so incredibly important.
Yeah, people got the nerves not to vote. Come on now, be for real.
Yes, Senator London Lamar, what can our people? And I'm gonna come behind you. What can our people do? What is our call to action for all of the stuff that's going on?
Well, it's not one call of action. It's a couple of things that we need to do. The obvious is register, vote, and vote, because in order to slow this down, we got to get our people in positions to actually vote against these things happening, right?
Yes.
We got to stop the legislations that then trigger the court proceedings,
Yes.
right? So
because they got the court stacked.
They got the court stacked. Before that, we also got to do a better job of educating.
Yes, indeed.
You know, we got to actually explain what you just said. We got to
Yes.
break it down in layman terms.
Yes.
The policy, the reason why people don't engage in policy because it's very complicated,
Yes.
right?
And it's in legalese.
It's in legal language. We got to be elected officials across the board on both sides. Everybody got to do a better job at breaking down the in layman terms what these policies do and how it impacts you as a person.
Right.
And then most importantly, we must start organizing in our own communities. And I'm not like organizing necessarily do like a protest. That's a part of the overall piece. Right. But we need to do a better job at start patronizing our business.
Come on now.
For,
Come on
start
now.
getting our finances together.
Yes.
We got to start making sure our kids are working together. We got to come together as a community. We got to make sure we're holding our own people to helping each other and stop being so divisive, even when we're not on the same page. So it's a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
And it's overwhelming, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I think people need to know there's urgency behind this. We can't no longer sit on our feet. There's urgency. Our rights are being taken away in our faces right now. So we must come together. We must, lean into our leaders. We must really mobilize to the polls and mobilize in our communities, in our schools, in our church houses. Because now churches, because of Trump, they can make endorsements, right?
Yeah.
So, it's time for us to start saying the thing, taking the stands, and making sure we get ourselves in positions of power to do things. And that's not just elected office either.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Yes,
We need people on these boards.
Yes,
we need
indeed.
people at the chamber.
We need strategists.
We need people protesting.
We need funders.
We need everybody. We need people
everybody.
with the money. We need everything. We need business owners. We need teachers. We need doctors. We need the whole gamut.
It's all hands on deck.
It's all hands on deck. Everybody has a part to play.
Yeah.
And everybody got to be okay with what their role is in that play too.
Yeah, and comfortable with it. And so, but I think that voting is the number 2 most important thing. Number 2. And London, don't beat me up and run me off of rakes and pitchforks.
Oh no, you're fine.
I think that how we move economically is the number 1 most important thing. And let me qualify that. Asians are the second to last in voter turnout, but they are number 3 economically in the United States. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. Right now, I'm not abdicating, do not vote. I'm saying get your ass out there in the masses and vote. Even when it rains and you just got your hair done, get out there and vote. Even when you have to stand in line, because these lines may get a little long in this midterm.
Come on.
Stand there. Just like we need to have Obama level turnout.
And we can stand in line for the club. We can stand in line to vote. Okay. If y'all can stand in line for an hour to get into these little bitty box places that's sweaty, your hair sweating out anyway, with $20 single shot drinks. You can stand in line to vote for somebody who's gonna put some more money in.
And don't get frustrated. Don't get frustrated because they're gonna pull something. They're gonna pull something.
You better believe that.
So don't leave. Stay there until you get an answer.
And if you can stand in line for the next Jordans, you can damn sure stand in line to cast your vote. Right. And
we need Nike lines. We need Nike lines.
You ain't lying. We need Obama level lines. And to my brothers that have spent time and have have lost their right to vote, your job is to drive 5 to the polls. Drive 5 to the polls. That's your job. If you are a convicted felon, you lost your right to vote. Take 5 people with you and they can vote in your stead, man. Let's multiply the vote exponentially. I do want to touch on this. We got a big event coming up tomorrow on Beale Street, right?
Absolutely. I'm really excited. So Elite Performance Foundation, in partnership with the Downtown Memphis Commission and the Beale Street Association, is hosting Boxing on Beale. So
crazy.
I am a part of this.
Give it up for that.
On the side note, my partner does a lot of youth engagement through sports, and boxing is that way. So I'm not just talking the talk. We walk the walk by engaging with youth, by making sure we teach them conflict resolution through the art of boxing. So, you know, boxing is we have a fight, but we dap it up at the end. There's levels of respect. So we're teaching youth of how to deal with conflict and how to come back together. So we're bringing our monthly fights to Beale Street for a free event for families across the city to come out to Beale Street to see the region's best amateur boxers duke it out. We're going to have the mayor there, our Democratic nominee for Shelby County Mayor, Mikhail Lowry, Commissioner Miska, Clay Bibbs, Representative Parkinson is coming. I'm going to be out there. All of these community leaders, we're coming out to Beale Street to have fun, provide a free opportunity for the Memphis community for you. Bring yourselves, bring your families, bring your friends. It's going to be fun. The weather's going to be nice, and we're going to have a good time.
And what time does that start?
It starts right at 1 o'clock on Beale Street, 1 to 7 p.m. on Beale Street.
That's going to be incredible, man. We brought boxing to Beale one year, myself and the Streeter sisters and brother Sam Watson.
He'll be there tomorrow.
Yeah. We did it with him. We gave Sam Watson the key to the city, opened this boxing thing back up. You know, he's from Memphis. If y'all don't know, Sam Watson is the brother being in the ring at all of the major fights. Gray hair, low haircut, sideburns, beard. You know, he's the face of Al Heyman Productions. So you know, and PBC. You know, and so he'll be in the house. We're looking forward to seeing him. And also,
town hall.
Put this on your calendar. We have a town hall meeting coming up on the 28th of May, and we're going to explain everything: redistricting, 14th Amendment, Voting Rights Act. And so we're going to break it down in granular form so everybody can understand it, so you can know what we're up against. We'll also have a call to action. A lot of things happening, a lot of plans in work, a lot of lawsuits still at play. So y'all don't lose hope, because we are not laying down in this fight. Y'all, I want to thank my Senator London Lamar.
Come on now. Come on,
give it up for him, man.
To the people watching, I hope you get engaged in my congressional race for Congressional District 9. We're about bringing people together, and we're going to advocate for our families and for our future.
Yeah, how do they get you though?
Oh, they're going to go to LondonLamar.com or follow me at LondonLamarTN on Instagram.
All right. You heard it right here. Hey, look, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And to all of the people that are watching, you know, 80% of y'all are not subscribers. We appreciate you watching, but if you subscribe, it will help us to continue to bring you great content. So please hit that subscribe button, hit that share button, and we will see you next week. You've been watching the Antonio Parkinson Project.
You're watching the Antonio Parkinson Project.